My macaroni and cheese recipe will have you ditching the box and embracing the flavor. It's creamy, dreamy, and cheesy perfection. Hi everyone, welcome to Let's Celebrate TV. I'm your host, Peter Lee. Today, our celebration is all about comfort food. We're making homemade macaroni and cheese. So let's get started. Homemade macaroni and cheese, one of the best comfort foods out there. Now, I'm using my mother's recipe, but I'm putting my own little twist on it. The first thing that I did was I prepared my pan, as I always do. I have here 13 by 9 or 33 by 23 centimeters baking dish that I just buttered. Why did I butter it? I don't want it to stick. And I like the flavor of butter. You could use cooking spray if you wanted, but I prefer butter. Now, let's talk about pasta. Most people use elbow macaroni for macaroni and cheese, but that's not what we're going to do today. I have here something called cavatappi. What is it? It's similar to an elbow macaroni, but it has a little extra curl in it, and it has ridges. What is that going to do? That extra curl and those ridges are just going to soak up that sauce and make it that much better. So this is 16 ounces, 454 grams, and I just cooked it in boiling salted water per the package directions. Now, if you're very clever, you can probably have this cooking on one burner and make the sauce at the same time. I did it separately today just so I could show you what this looks like. Mac and cheese needs cheese sauce. Let's get started on that. I'm going to turn on my pan. We're going to start with a basic skill. We're going to start by making a roux. The roux is going to start with butter. I have a whole stick of butter, which is 4 ounces, 113 grams, or 8 tablespoons. Now that 8 tablespoons is an important detail to remember. This is going to go right in my pan. We'll get that melting for a moment. All right, my butter is almost melted. Now we're going to add some flour. I said that was 8 tablespoons of butter, so I'm going to add equal amounts, 8 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Right in. And we're just going to whisk this to combine. Now this is going to turn into a paste. And once it does, we want to let it cook just for a minute or so to cook off the raw flour taste. We don't want it to brown, but we don't want it to taste like flour either. All right, now we're going to turn this roux into a sauce. Guess what? Another basic skills. We're going to turn this into a bechamel sauce. And we're going to do that by adding milk. 24 ounces, a little over 700 mils of whole milk. I'm going to pour this in and stir it constantly, and we're going to let it get nice and thick. Take about 5 minutes. All right, now my bechamel is thickening up very nicely. We need to add some flavors to it. We're going to start with dried mustard. What is dry mustard? This is what you find in the stores. Now, all the spice makers make dried mustard. This is the kind I like. It's ground up mustard seeds and little flour, something that is brilliant to always have in your pantry. We're going to put this right in the sauce. Going to add a little tang. Now at this point, I think I can cut the heat too. My sauce is as thick as it needs to be. It's nice and hot. Let's add some more flavor. Next up, nutmeg. Just a 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. Classic in a bechamel sauce. All the better if you can find it whole, but pre-ground is fine too. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, just a little. And I'm using white pepper today, so it doesn't show too much in my sauce. Now we're making cheese sauce. Let's add some cheese. We're going to start with extra sharp cheese. I have 8 ounces, 256 grams of extra sharp cheddar. I prefer the white kind. You can use orange if you like. Now, I shredded this myself. Why did I shred it myself instead of buying the pre-shredded? The pre-shredded, it's wonderful, but it has cellulose on it, which is perfectly edible, but that keeps it from clumping up in the packet, and it could affect how it melts. I want this super creamy, so a little extra work is worth it. This is going to go right in. Now the sharp cheese is going to give a lot of flavor. It's going to work really well with those mustard and nutmeg. But I want to make this even cheesier and creamier. We're going to do that with 8 ounces, 256 grams of Monterey Jack that I shredded. Right in. The Monterey Jack is going to make it super creamy. It will balance out the stronger flavors of the sharp cheese and the mustard. Won't overwhelm it. Just give it a little balance. We just need to stir this up until this is all melts together. And this sauce is hot enough that it will do that without being on the heat. Look at that. You can see how cheesy it is already. Now, remember that cooked pasta that we had? We're going to add the pasta to the sauce a little bit at a time. Just stir it in and get it all coated. Now, a little tip. When you get this far, if you're concerned you got your sauce a little too thick, you could add a splash of milk or a splash of the pasta water. But this, beautiful. All right. Now, at this point, you could eat this just as it is. I'm going to use this opportunity to taste for seasoning. Like I said, you could eat it as is right now. We're going to go a little more. Remember that baking dish? Here we go. Put this in here. All that cheesy goodness. All right, here we go. Smooth this out. Beautiful. Now this is ready for the oven. I'm going to bake this uncovered, 375 Fahrenheit, 190 Celsius, for maybe about 30 minutes, maybe even 35, just until it's heated through and the top is all nice and brown and bubbly. So off to the oven. Here we are. It's been 30 minutes out of the oven, nice and golden brown. Now, what else could you do with this? You could, before you put it in the oven, spread some extra cheese on it. Maybe a layer of buttered breadcrumbs would be nice. But I'm kind of a purist. I like it just plain like this. And I really can't wait much longer. So I'm going to dig in. Let's take some here. A generous portion. This is dinner after all. Wow. Look at that. I don't know if you can see the steam, but you can see how creamy it is. Let's get a little taste. You get the sharp cheese, you get the extra cream from the Monterey Jack, you get the nice, almost al dente pasta that is just delivering that cheese sauce with every single bite. And those other spices, the nutmeg and the mustard, you don't taste them, but they're back there. You get a little extra something, something. Another bite. How comforting. Now tonight, I'm washing this down with a little Pinot Blanc. All right, if you like this episode, sign up for our newsletter and get the recipes in your inbox. Then help us out. Help us grow the channel by hitting that subscribe button, smashing that like button, and hitting the notification bell so you'll never ever miss an episode. All right, I'm going to go serve this to my family for dinner. And while I do that, I want you to watch some of these episodes over here. So until next time, everyone, cheers.